What's up, gamers? We're back, and in the new room for college this time. Pretty cool. Don Tolliver, my goat. But what I want to talk about is the unbelievable biblical levels of greed that Nintendo is currently displaying. I actually made a TikTok video about it. You guys should watch me yap about it. Link plug somewhere, but it has gotten to biblical levels of comical amounts of greed. And I'm going to talk about that now because I have to elaborate on it because it's fucking nuts. I found out more shit that they've done that is absolutely balls to the walls. Let's go back a few months to the Switch 2 release. Now, this was heavily anticipated, right? Because the Switch's lifespan was like 7 years, right? From like 2017 to like 2025, right? That's a pretty fucking long time. 7 or 8 years. That's more than most consoles, right? People were anticipating, the Switch 2 or whatever the fuck they had after that to be announced, in 2024 or 2025. And then when they finally had information about it, and they finally gave price points and shit, I mean, I didn't really have a problem with the Switch 2 price because it's like $500, but this is like a 4K, it has pretty good performance and the specs are kind of up to date, right? So I thought that was kind of a fair price point. I didn't have much of a problem with that. But then they started talking about the games. Now, I think on launch they had Mario Kart World. That was their big flagship title, right? Because, everybody, it had been like 12 years, or it has been 12 years since the last Mario Kart game. Why is it $80 for a physical copy? And why is it $10 more for a physical copy of the game? Why is it not just 70 or 60? I understand that Nintendo has dabbled in the $70 price point before for video games because they did that with, Tears of the Kingdom or whatever. But they did that simply because they knew that game was highly anticipated and that people wanted it. People wanted to play it. And I think that's absolutely nuts because usually companies don't exploit this. Actually, they do, but I thought that, Nintendo in the past has been more merciful than other companies like Ubisoft or EA. When they said it was the physical copy was going to be like $10 more than the average video game price is now, like $70 for a brand new game. I'm not paying that much money Mario. For a fucking box and a cartridge, buddy. I hope you know that. And most people aren't. I mean, unless you're one of the soy-jacking Nintendo collectors that's going to be like, oh, I will support Nintendo in any endeavor that they have. I was a veteran of the Wii U era. Shut the fuck up. No one cares. Dude, please, come on. Have some dignity for yourself as a person and as a consumer, dude. So, the Switch 2, the price point for the console itself is not crazy, in my opinion. But then, when they, with the Nintendo Direct where they were giving information about the Switch 2, they had this, they introduced this, tour of the console game. And I was like, oh, that's cool. It's like Astro's Playroom on the PlayStation 5. That'll be like a cool, free little thing to, if you just bought the bundle with Mario Kart, you also have something else to do besides just finish the entire game in, one sitting. That's not the case, though. That was not the case. It did not come with the console. It is actually $10. For what purpose? For what purpose? There's no reason for that. That's like if they charged, like I said, for Astro's Playroom on the PS5. I promise you, infinitely more people would have played it if it was just automatically on the Switch than if you charged $10 for it. I promise you a solid 6 or 7 people actually bought and played that fucking tour of the console, because there's absolutely no reason in hell that a tour of the console, like a digitalized explanation of how the console works and shit, should not be $10. Your greed is unmatched, Doug Bowser. What the fuck is wrong with you? And then moving on to this, I think rather recently Nintendo changed the user agreement. I think this was actually right off the bat of the people getting the Switch 2. You cannot mod the Switch 2 at all. Technically it's illegal to mod your Switch, but you can do it and still play games. Maybe just the online store is cut off or something, but who gives a fuck? Nobody uses the eShop anymore. That's not the case for the Switch 2. Nintendo has you signing the user agreement, and in that user agreement it says that you do not own the console. You are leasing it out from Nintendo, and they have the right to shut that shit down anytime they please. If you piss off Nintendo in any way and you have a Switch 2, your $500 is gone in an instant. You cannot get that shit back. As far as I know, I'm not going to say this definitely because I don't know, but I don't think Nintendo will turn that shit back on, quite honestly. If you send it back to their headquarters or like wherever, Timbuktu, I don't think they're going to turn that shit back on for you. Now, like I said, I don't know this for sure, but knowing Nintendo, they probably will just be like, sorry, fucker, and not give you a refund or turn your shit back on at all. This is like what I talked about in one of my old videos when that Ubisoft guy said that gamers need to get used to not owning their shit. He was absolutely right. I'm eating my words right now because I thought, oh, they'd never do that. Yes, they will. They will absolutely do that because that's what Nintendo's doing with this. And same thing as the consoles, they're leasing the games out to you. You don't own these games, despite you owning a physical copy or a digital code or whatever, having it downloaded on your Switch. You don't own that shit. They said that the physical copy of a game is more like a key to access it, and if they could just take that shit away from you, like that, if you mess up or do anything out of the, that Nintendo doesn't like. This, which, like I said, that Ubisoft CEO was right. Weird people are definitely getting used to not owning their shit. That's insane. If I'm paying you $500 for a console, I'm paying you to own it. I'm not paying you to lease that shit out. I'm not paying you to rent it. I didn't realize me going to Walmart and buying the console was me just more akin to going to fucking Blockbuster. And this reminds me of a tweet I saw. I don't remember if it was a tweet. I saw it somewhere on some social media. And it was this guy who said that his sister made an account on his Switch, and she named it Twink Link, right? Funny, right? Gay, Link is gay, right? Nintendo did not find that shit funny. They shut it down, literally like that. They brought the hammer down. But I don't know if that guy got his console back, but still, you should, it's my console. I should be able to do what I want with it. I'm paying that money, so let me own it. You should not have anything to fucking do with what, the private consumer is doing. I mean, at this point, they might as well just sell a fucking big-ass camera that says Big Brother is watching and install it in your house if you own any Nintendo consoles. And if you try to pirate something or emulate it, or if you try to mod your console, you should be shot by that camera. I mean, it's just getting absolutely ridiculous at this point because there's no reason that Nintendo should be doing this. Their greed is unmatched, as I've been saying for this whole entire rant. Don't expect... I know, like, the two Zumbini fans that are watching this, don't expect me to review any Nintendo games anytime soon unless they've come out in the past and are on the Switch 1. Because I will not be getting the Switch 2 in any point in time, I don't think. Anyways, thanks for watching me rant and rabble for the past, 10 minutes, probably. I really want this video to be short, but probably won't be. But anyways, see you guys later. Bye-bye.